Hello and welcome to another Cigar Advisor Review Panel Cigar Review. I'm Gary Korb, Executive Editor for CigarAdvisor.com, and today I'm feeling happy and peppy and bursting with love. Yes, for the day's session we're going to be smoking the Romeo y Julieta House of Capulet 80th Anniversary Toro. Now, this is a very special cigar and I'm going to tell you why it is momentarily, but first let's meet our delightful panelists. Whenever he gets his shoe shine, they charge him triple. Say hello to Jared Gulick. President Trump called him a whack job, but we call him Mr. Tibbs. It's Tommy Z-Man, everybody.
What up?
He could only be a fly on a load-bearing wall. It's John Pulo. And he's a good sport.
He's a good sport. He holds your life in your hands.
He is a good sport. He's a good sport.
We're going to talk about that at the year-end review.
Okay. Yes, we are smoking the new Romeo y Julieta House of Capulet 80th Anniversary Toro. And I said in my introduction, this is a special cigar. And why is it a special cigar? Because it is the 80th anniversary of Famous Smoke Shop.
Woo!
And they made this especially for Famous Smoke Shop. And it is made in Honduras, which I like. I like Honduran cigars. The dimensions are 6x52. It's got a soft box press. It's like it's not a true Parejo. It's just been pressed a little bit. Has nice round edges as opposed to the sharp edges you would get from like a trunk press or a Cuban press. The wrapper is Connecticut shade grown in Ecuador. The binder is Nicaraguan, and the filler are Honduran and Nicaraguan. It's only rolled in one size. This is a special anniversary edition, so it's only one size.
1,000 boxes.
1,000 boxes, wow.
That's
okay.
it.
And it's presented in boxes of 10 cigars.
So that's it.
So it's 10,000 cigars.
This is a grab it while you can
That's
kind
right.
of proposition. So
And the price of the box, the famous price, is under $63.
Wait a minute, what? For a limited edition?
$62.99
Wow.
10 cigars. At this time.
Yeah, at the time of this recording,
Yeah.
you can't touch a limited edition cigar for $6 and change.
No, you know what? That's what I was thinking, that if this was not like one of our exclusives, this would be a $10 to $12 cigar. It absolutely would. It's that good.
Well, based on the size alone, it would be closer to $10,
That's true.
But I just think it's been, John and I were talking about this just before we started. It's been amazingly consistent. Where we've had, I had a baseline cigar. I think we've all had the baseline. I think this might be my third.
Yeah, we're up to like
Cigar.
3 or 4, so I
Yeah.
mean,
And
so
it's
998
Fifth,
boxes.
Yeah, I got it.
Fifth, actually.
But what I wanted to say was the cigar is great for the morning, and we're smoking this in the morning. And I have my coffee here, and I guess the pre-light for me was a little bit salty, a little saltiness in the pre-light.
Okay.
But let's go down to Tommy and start with him. He's got some mash going there. So.
I got a nice ash, don't I? So I've always enjoyed the Capulet that we've had for quite some time here at Famous, and I really have enjoyed it. It's a mix of mellow to medium, but it's always had a lot of flavor, and I know it's a huge seller for the company. It sells huge. And then they come out with this 80th, and I tried this, and then I've had a few of them, and I'm like, I've been asking the guys, and I'm asking around, is this the same blend as the original Capulet? Because it tastes different to me. And now I'm told it is the same blend, but it tastes different. It actually has a lot more flavor. Usually a cigar that's a Connecticut wrap, I will not smoke after dinner because it doesn't have enough flavor. This one I smoked after dinner a couple times, and it has tons of flavor, even though it's on the mellow to medium side. So Gary was saying that he thinks it's maybe this slight box press that's opening up the cigar a little more and letting a little more flavor or something come through, because it is freaking delicious. That's a Jersey term. Freaking delicious. Gary, what do you think?
Well, I think that we talked to Jim C.
Head of purchasing.
Yes, and he
Chief
said,
Grand Potentate
yes.
of buying cigars.
The ultimate buyer. And he said he thinks it's a box pressing too. And I think when you box press, Jared, you can maybe attest to this, they use a little less leaf.
They do, and it smokes with the gentle box press here, it's just a tad cooler. It smokes a tad cooler than the Parejo.
But Gary, like I was saying, I think the flavor, and I was saying this to the guys this morning, I think the flavor is amped up from the original. it's just more. It's got more sweetness, more of the, I'm not going to talk about the flavor profile yet, we'll get into that, but just more of everything kind of hits the cigar, and I think it really is worth being a special anniversary cigar.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I found some differences too, and I went back purposefully before we decided to come over here and commit ourselves to tape, so to speak, here, and compared this with the original Capulet, which is the same blend, and we made for sure that this is truly the same blend. Honduran, Nicaraguan tobaccos in the core, Ecuador, Connecticut on the outside. The original, and I had reviewed this for our Guide to Romeo y Julieta Cigars. That's on Cigar Advisor. The original was sweet and it had a sweet spice, kind of like cinnamon toast. It was mellow. I thought it was pretty good with a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And it's just color-wise too. The wrapper seemed a little bit lighter. Now this time around, it seems the smoke is a little bit chewier. There's a more noticeable creaminess, I think, to the smoke.
I agree. Yeah.
There's a salty, sweet finish, which I want to talk a little bit about.
Absolutely.
But to Tommy's point, there's just more body. There's not more strength. It's still a pretty mellow smoke, maybe mellow plus, but there's just more body to it when you actually smoke it, and body in the sense of intensity of flavors that are hitting the different parts of your palate.
And you know what, John? Retrohale that, and you're going to see that like ramp up twice as much.
Well, I noticed in the retrohale, there's a good bunch of spice in the beginning, but later on, like I said, we've had a couple of these. The spice is going away and helps to contribute to some of that creamy sensation.
Yeah, it's very
And
It gets buttery almost.
Yeah,
You know.
you
Yeah, I
start
was
getting
gonna
on a
say-
little bit later.
I was going to mention that too. It's extremely good. Jared, how about you? You haven't chimed in yet.
I think it's very, very nutty and pleasant, but there's like also the sweetness on the finish that you know, comes out.
You
I thought,
just described me, buddy.
yeah.
He always struck me as more oaky.
Oaky.
He's an oaky type.
I was going to say like
I like
particle board.
So go on, Jared. I meant to interrupt. But
No.
He seems very oaky.
So I noticed you had said on your pre-light you're getting some salty or more savory, but I actually got more of a sweetness, almost like a barnyard in there. But also got some cream and leather in the beginning here, and then I noticed the saltiness more after the first third originally.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten into it yet here on this one.
Right. I also got a sort of this is sort of near the end of the first third, more of like kind of like a graham cracker and a toffee flavor. I think that sweetness isn't. It's not necessarily the sweetness I get from like sweet tobacco or sweet
Right.
spice. It's more of like a toffee sweetness, and I was getting that. And right now it's just really creamy and really smooth, with some nice sweetness on the finish.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what? Yeah, we've said this before. You know, sometimes, and you've seen it if you watch our videos, one of us will get you'll get a flavor profile that you can say, I've never gotten that before. And I've got one here. And I know I don't want to sound like some of those hoity-toity guys that find, you know, the Madagascar vanilla and stuff.
Okay, surprise
But
me.
I taste almost like the crispness of an apple, like that kind of
Really?
sweetness. And I've never, guys, I've been smoking cigars a long time. I've been
Okay.
reviewing for a long time. I've never tasted the sweetness of like a crisp apple,
like
and
a-
I'm getting it. But you know what? When we talk about the flavor profiles, it's what, if you say cigar sweet, it's what that sweetness reminds us of. If you say something's woody, it's what kind of wood that reminds us. And this reminds me of. It's kind of crazy, but does anybody know what I mean by saying that, or am I just a total mental case?
Well, it depends. Where are you tasting it?
Kind of the middle of my tongue.
Is it on the finish at all?
Yeah, or is it in the retrohale?
Because here's
Yeah,
why.
no, definitely on the finish. When I'm
Okay.
going,
Right, I get
All
it.
right. So this cigar this has a nice long finish.
Yeah.
Does anybody here drink vodka tonics?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the time.
All right.
Well,
Or
not
drink vodka.
that much.
not during work, Gary.
Not
we-
like
So
constantly.
It has this kind of zestiness
Yes.
that it finishes with. Okay?
Tanginess, yeah.
Tanginess. So when somebody mixes a vodka tonic for you, like here at the bar, right? Or if you're drinking, do you ever take the lime and kind of rub it on the edge of the glass and then take a drink? But you notice how the vodka and the tonic water, they hit your palate, but then you have the finish of the lime
Right.
left on your tongue behind. Mm-hmm. It's kind of that
Yes.
same kind of
I
tang
get it,
or
exactly, yes.
zest sensation. So it's not like smoking a vodka tonic. But,
No. You know what you mean, yeah.
But that
It's
kind
just
of-
that
that's the
little
same
element.
sensation.
kind of sensation.
It's the
It
same
leaves behind that kind of
sensation.
sensation.
You
A
get-
fresh, crisp apple has that same sensation.
Right.
And again, I've never tasted that before, and I know I sound nuts, but you guys know what I mean. It's different.
Yeah,
It might be different for anybody.
My experience is different. It seems that his is a little bit different even from both of ours.
Sure. I mean, we were talking about it. We were talking about it last week, and you had told me that you were getting citrus notes off of it, and I was worried that maybe the power of suggestion was going to make me.
I think you called me a damn liar. Was that what?
I think
I don't think I said that.
I think a fool.
You're nuts.
Freaking fool, I think was the
No,
word.
nuts was what I tasted. wait, that came out wrong.
Jared tasted nuts. Put that on record, people. Salty.
Now, I'll tell you one thing, the ash on this, no mind.
Well,
But
talk
you're-
about
you gotta-
construction is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to tap it off, and it really didn't even want to
Yeah,
go.
it takes a lot of work, and
It doesn't
not only
like
that, you
it.
get that nice cone once you actually take it off.
Yeah.
And that's one. I've actually smoked 5 of these so far, and every single one of them have had almost a perfect burn line and
Yeah.
amazing construction.
Construction's
Amazing
fantastic. Obviously, you know, I guess when you're rolling an 80th a type or an anniversary type cigar, you're going to use probably the better higher end rollers maybe to do this line. I can only guess at that because the construction on this is just simply amazing. It's that what John always refers to as the coin stack ash. It's just like perfect going down, and it's solid. I mean, this
You
thing
could
is
balance that on that
yeah.
easily.
very well rolled cigar.
Yeah. Now that we're getting in about an inch and a half closer to almost closing in on 2, the pepperiness and the retrohale has kind of gone away. So it's smoothing out. So I won't be so bold to say can't really front load a mellow cigar. So, but I think it's getting a little sweeter, getting a little creamier on some of these things, and still the zestiness is still kind of hanging out there towards the finish.
Aroma's a big thing with me. And in fact, we did a survey about a week ago, and aroma is big with more people than I thought.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. I didn't think they were going to respond, like saying, it's not that big a deal. But the first choice was, it's very important.
It is.
And most
Well,
people picked very important.
Because the aroma hits the senses, and that's where you pick up a lot of flavor through the aroma, because it goes in the back of your throat, almost at the back of your tongue. I mean, if you sit with Rafael Nadal, who makes Aging Room, you sit with him here at Leaf, and when he smokes, right, guys?
Right,
He
yeah.
blows, and then he goes like this.
Yeah, he just
He puts his hand
gets
here, and
everything.
the whole cigar.
Cupping.
Yeah, taking it in and letting it go back down into like the back of his throat, and that's where he says he picks up a lot of flavor, and that's like when we talk about how do you taste leather in a cigar. Well, you're tasting a smell, and that's
Right.
what he's getting that, and the aroma on this is.
Yeah. I'm getting a very sweet and creamy aroma,
spectacular.
kind of like the way it's smoking.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
and I think a lot of people don't really get that when you say that you're tasting it. And I always try to tell people, it's kind of like, have you ever tasted something that reminded you of how something else smelled, and you're like, this tastes like something smells? That's what we're getting at. We're not saying, oh my God, I just bit down into a, baseball here. And like, it's reminiscent of the.
Where the hell did you taste with that?
It's leather.
Baseball. I've
It's
never-
leather. Either way. So it's reminiscent of that. It reminds you of the aroma of.
Well, it's just because I guess maybe you threw them with the baseball leather as opposed to like a Hot Topic chain wallet leather.
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, I mean,
a little more
if you're
used
biting
to.
into baseballs, I want to see your dental bill. But yes, that's what he's talking about is what I was talking
Right,
about.
because you had said earlier you got apple, right? Now, not on this cigar, but I've tasted apple before, and it's reminiscent of how apples are. It's not like I actually put an apple in my mouth.
Yeah,
That's what
it is. It just
know.
reminds you of, and like I said, if you're getting a sweetness, some cigars you get dark fruit, and you say, I might say, it reminds me of cherries. John might say, I thought it was more like a plum, but it's that dark citrusy fruit. So it's whatever it means to you. That's why, with reviews like this, you just have to use, take what we're saying just kind of as a guide to see if this is the kind of cigar you like. Is that fair enough, guys?
That's fair.
I agree. And I'll tell you, for the money, you're really getting a lot of cigar.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, for $6.30 a cigar,
Yeah, something like that,
Are you
yeah.
kidding me? Fantastic.
This is the type of cigar that is going to be good for someone who has either never smoked a cigar before. If you want a introduction into flavor, this is the way to do it. Also, it would be great for anyone who is a veteran of smoking but wants a great morning smoke. I think that this would be...
Guys, you know, Jared, though, I did say before, I smoked this after dinner, 2 of these, and I never smoked Connecticut's after dinner, and this smoked fine. I tasted everything, and because of what John was saying, that just a lot more flavor, and it's very ramped up here.
You know who else I think this is a great cigar for? If you're only an occasional smoker, you buy a box twice a year. You know, maybe you'll maybe you'll buy a 5-pack every so often just because something you find, you know, strikes your fancy. You don't want to spend a lot, but you still want to taste what maybe a limited edition cigar can have to offer.
Sure.
Right? But you don't want to go ahead and break the bank doing it. Right. This is a good way to get your hands on, you know, the good feeling that you get from a limited edition cigar, a little extra care that went into the assembly, and some choice tobaccos that went into it, but you're not spending a lot, you're not breaking your budget, and you're not going outside your comfort zone of 2 boxes a year. It's just gonna, you know, it's just gonna be a shame that once they're gone, and you're not gonna be able to find them again.
Oh yeah, several months from now, we're going to be looking back on this and be like, I wish we had some more.
We could dig through and find some more of these.
I mean, I'm getting like the very open draw on it. You know, the smoke's coming right through. You know, it's just it's hitting on all cylinders for me. Anyway, so I guess we are unanimous on the Romeo y Julieta House of Capulet Toro 80th anniversary. It's just a great value and great flavor, good with just about anything, I guess, drink-wise. So, anyone have any last minute?
Yeah, we didn't even mention. You notice how much smoke pours off this thing? A lot.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a well-rolled cigar with really good tobacco in it. I gotta say, this is probably the 6th one I've smoked in the last week and a half. I've been going into the store and buying these because I like them that much. Great.
Yeah, they're addictive.
Early and middle of the day cigar too.
Sure, and that might even be a good you know, segue to point out to what you guys were talking about the difference between body and strength. Usually when we're talking about strength, we talk about nicotine, about how that buzz is going to affect either your head or your gut, whereas body is the amount of smoke that pours out of the cigar. So you can actually have a cigar that's going to be more medium in body, but it's still mellow in strength, and that's exactly what we're getting out of this.
You can buy the Romeo y Julieta House of Capulet 80th Anniversary Toro at famous-smoke.com. And don't forget to follow cigaradvisor.com on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and anywhere on the internet that you can find us, we are there. So, thanks again, and happy smokes.